Author's note. Before I begin the process of writing my first ever book, I'd like to take a second and blame this entire thing on not giving a shit about future Dave. Because back when I first was pitched the idea to write the Barstool story, it sounded great. I was infatuated with the idea of walking through airports all across America and seeing my book on newsstands everywhere. I just thought it'd be super cool. Plus, I know how incredible and probable this journey has been. From hawking newspapers in the streets of Boston to the media behemoth it has become today, the story of Barstool Sports is insane. I mean, Barstool is literally just named one of the top 250 most iconic companies in the history of America by Time magazine. Pretty insane stuff. So like I said, when I was offered 7 figures to write our story last year, it was all sunshine, rainbows, and gumdrops. As far as writing the book, that would be a problem for future Dave to handle, not present day Dave. Well, guess what? The future has arrived. Now I have to sit down and write this thing. I have to somehow capture 2 decades of madness in a couple hundred pages. If present-day Dave could go back in time and give back the advance and undo all the commitments I made a year ago, I'd do it in a heartbeat. But alas, here we are, and one thing I've always done in the 20 years of Barstool is honor my commitments. So here we go. Here is my best attempt to tell the Barstool sports journey through my eyes. Chapter 1, The Beginning. As long as I can remember, I always wanted to work for myself, to try my own thing. The motivation was simple. I didn't want to wake up every day and dread going to work. If I could have found a job that I enjoyed doing more than working for myself, it wouldn't have mattered. In fact, Barstool Sports probably wouldn't exist. But I couldn't find that dream job. It probably didn't help that the only 2 things I liked were sports and gambling, not exactly the easiest fields to break into. By the time I was looking for jobs, I was essentially like every other white middle-class dude in the world who graduated with a liberal arts degree. I had no real skills, so I did what everybody else like me does. I took a sales job out of college. When I graduated from Michigan in 1999, the economy was booming. It was the height of the dot-com era, and any idiot could get a sales job. I moved back to Boston and landed at a place called the Yankee Group. Every day I woke up and dragged myself to this job that I was good at, but I didn't care about. I was making $80K a year out of college, which seemed like an ungodly amount of money at the time. But I was bored out of my mind. I was living with 5 of my high school buddies crammed into a tiny apartment in Allston-Brighton. If you're unfamiliar with Boston, Allston-Brighton was pretty much where every single young college graduate lived because it was relatively cheap and you could take the subway to work. Every night, we'd sit around, brainstorm different business ideas that we could all start together. And every night kind of went the same way. We'd be watching whatever Boston team was in season, scheming up some cockamamie business idea in extreme detail with everybody ready to quit their jobs and go all in this new company, only to never discuss it again by the next morning. Reflecting back, I don't think any of my buddies grasped how serious I was about these brainstorming sessions. In my head, I knew I was fully committed to trying one of them. It was just a matter of which one would get the green light. After a year of long-shot brainstorming fueled by cheap beer and ramen, I narrowed down the list to the 3 best concepts. My 3 ideas. Number 1, a college-used furniture business. You know how at the end of every semester of college, kids dump all their old furniture onto the sidewalk? My idea was simple. Drive around trucks, take this free used furniture, store it in warehouses, and then sell it online to new incoming students who could buy it way cheaper than if they bought a new one. 100% profit margin. Brilliant. Number 2, next step scouting. I actually wrote a business plan for this idea and paid a couple grand to have the software built for it. The idea for this concept was connect kids who want to play Division II or Division III athletics in college with the college coaches who didn't have the budget to recruit. The theory is that lots of kids want to play sports in college but aren't Division I type players. But playing sports is still an important part of where they want to go to school. Figuring out how to match these players with the right coach and program seemed like a win for everybody. Parents would pay to enter their kids into our database. We'd have regional scouts, townies who go to all the games anyways, scout the players and report back if they were worth a shot. Coaches could then search our database for players in the area that fit their criteria and find when they play, watch tape, contact them, and ultimately give a look to these kids who otherwise may never have been seen. Number 3, a sports gambling newspaper. I love gambling. I'd even start a website in college called thegamblingman.com. I wonder if the person who owns that domain now knows that I once owned it. It was basically a mini blog where I offered my picks for the week to a pretty small group of friends who read it. Little did I know that would be the precursor to what the world would come to know as Barstool Sports, media giant. But back then, I just wanted